My name is Dan Jacobson. I have been teaching here for 30 years. I'm retiring this year. I'm happy about it, and I'm sad about it, which is exactly how I wanted to feel. In my time at Nicolay High School, I have taught global history, American history, government, economics. I have taught a course called Leadership for Social Justice, and I wrote the curriculum for that. World religions, the history of presidential elections. I think that's it. So, being an entrepreneur, which was my first major at Arizona, and then wanted to go into marketing. And honestly, teaching and marketing, like every day in the classroom, you're marketing yourself. You are trying to get kids to believe that they should listen to you and that they should follow you. And that my product is the subject that I'm teaching. Hey, U.S. history is important, and here's why you should be buying into it and being engaged, So it all does kind of come together in education. Being a teacher really is a conglomeration of a lot of different skills. To help students be engaged in what we're talking about, no matter the subject, is to figure out a way to have them learn without feeling like they are learning. So I teach through stories and stupid jokes and getting to know them and relating it to whatever is important in their lives, whether it's sports or music or movies or something else, trying to make that relevant. Getting to know the kids allows them or will encourage them to want to learn more. When I made up stories in high school, I have no idea if the teachers believed what I was saying or just like, wow, okay, this kid's full of shit, but he's a good guy, so I'll let it go. Because I do that with students. I'm like, come on, really? And I say, okay, just do better next time. Or I'll call a kid over and say, hey, get over here, I have to yell at you. And then I quietly say, you can do better, right? Can you do better? Yeah. And then we do a pinky swear, and I say, okay, was that too harsh? I don't want my yelling to be too much. So sarcasm works, humor works, kindness, compassion. And if you can put compassion with passion, you can make some special things happen in the classroom. When I was learning how to be a teacher, I had one experience here. Don't smile until Christmas. Don't let them see you smile. You have to be stern, and you have to be the boss of the room. And I tried that in my student teaching for 4 days, and I was miserable. I think kids are still kids. They still want boundaries. They still want to be held accountable, even if they say they don't. They still want and need support. You just have to take into account that they're kids. And for some of them, they are carrying around some absolutely horrendous baggage and life experience that I can't imagine going through. And I think when teachers say, oh, the kids, they're so bad these days or whatever, and I said, no, they're not. They're doing the exact same things that they were doing 30 years ago. They're doing the exact same things that I did when I was in high school. The language that kids use has changed. The way they dress has changed. But their want and need for validation, for support, that has not changed. This job has brought me more joy than I ever thought possible. That's one thing I'm really proud of, is that my feelings towards education has probably changed the least. It's still the best job in the world. If I could just get in the classroom and teach and work with kids, I would not be retiring. It's a lot of some new technology coming in. AI is the elephant in the room. It is honestly one of the reasons that, I don't know if glad is the right word, but I'll use the word glad that I'm leaving at this time. It's growing, it's there, very much like the cell phones were. And I think that the technological additions to people's lives have made it more difficult to teach. So I think this has slowly but surely been building. I think a lot of teachers will go through the phase of feeling undervalued. I would say 99% of the community values what we're doing. I think the kids value what we're doing. I don't know if society always values teachers. I think there's a feeling that, oh, I could go in there and do that. And I think some people could go in there and do that for 20 minutes, maybe even a full day. But when you start talking about dealing with 28 kids in your class, 28 different personalities, and a lot of times those personalities would change during the class period, and then start taking into account issues in each kid's family or their health or their parents' health, or relationships breaking up, kids' homes being disrupted because of divorce or illness. There are many times where their own personal issues are more important than the topic that we're teaching. This is investment that takes years and years and decades to make a profit. And the profit is really good people, kids growing up to be hardworking, intelligent, kind, compassionate people, and that you can't put a price tag on that. And yeah, you may have to spend more money. Yeah, we might have to be the organization or the place that feeds kids who don't get food. Or we might have to be a place where we get them mental health treatment, mental illness treatment. We might have to be the place where we find them a home. When I talk about politics and history, I tell the students that teaching American history and teaching American government is one of the hardest things to do if you're being honest. If you look at the most decorated soldiers in World War II, were Native Americans, African Americans, right, and Japanese Americans. The three groups of people that we have done the worst things to were willing to go and die for this country. And that's teaching history. I tell the students, I'm here to teach the truth. So I retired. June 13th was my last day, and it's awesome. I miss the kids. I miss being around the kids. I miss their energy and their enthusiasm. I miss their aha moments, their gratitude. It's an ego thing too, if I'm being honest. When somebody says, wow, you're really good at this, or I couldn't have done this without you, it feels really good. But just the idea that I don't have to grade 110 essays. I spent 35 years on a schedule. It is an institution, and you do get institutionalized. But in the sense of this is what you do. You go to work, you operate based on the bell system. It determines when you can use the bathroom, when you can eat, how long can you eat. It dictates what you can do at nighttime. Other conferences, or the school day ends at 3:30 and I now have 4 more hours of work. So my 7 or 8 hour day now becomes 11 or 12 hour day. I mean, that's part of the job. And there's something to be said for doing things that are new and different. There's part of me that says, I wonder what it would have been like to teach in other schools. But then I don't think my career as a teacher would have been maybe as satisfying. That connection. I found a place that worked for me. I found a place that fit me well. So all in all, only go into education at whatever level it might be if your heart is truly in it. If you can honestly say that your heart is all in it, it is the best job you will ever have. And then lastly, I would say take a breath, breathe, sometimes before you speak, and just remember it is about kids.